What's up? My name is Eric Butler. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back and from KTLA, Los Angeles County to fly pride flag in June. So we just saw another story of how public schools across the country are hiding the gender identity of children from their parents. Now, why would they do that? If they are so proud of this identity, why would they hide it? Why would they not rush to tell the parents everything if it's so amazing and you should be so proud of it? Is it because they're just trying to manipulate these children and turn them into mental head cases and lifelong pharmaceutical patients, right? And we also know that in the schools, the teaching of sexual stuff, LGBTQ, barbecue, whatever, only goes one way. We're at the point where they're not even going to tell you about the birds and the bees, not only because that's heteronormative and patriarchy and all that, but it also clearly goes against all of their other nonsense. So you can't say this is how a baby is made because you just told them that, well, women aren't the only ones that could give birth. So now, on the one hand, they are hiding the quote-unquote gender identity of students from their parents. Meanwhile, they are claiming for at least a month, arguably 2 or 3, the entire year if they had it their way, every single day, every single minute, every millisecond, they would be celebrating this and, trying to convince people that their delusions are reality. But they are hiding it from the parents, meanwhile saying you should be proud of it. So which is it? Which is it, guys? And of course, none of this makes sense, and it's all for chaos. They want you to be confused. They want you to look to them for answers to all of your questions, and then they're just going to manipulate you anyways. You're never going to get the truth out of any of these people because the truth, of course, is a scary thing, right? Like I always say, if Don Lemon can say 98 establishment shield things, and he says 2 things that don't align, then they're going to get mad at him. And that's him pointing out something like Nikki Haley might be past her prime. That's him pointing out something like he did almost a decade ago, claiming that there was issues in certain black communities. But that's a different story. I digress. My point is, none of their agendas, none of their talking points can align with each other. If you take any of them to their logical conclusion, they will always butt heads. It's very simple. Even with the LGBTQ acronym, right? It's painfully obvious. The L and the G can't really align, can't really live harmoniously if you think about it logically. No hate, a lot of judgment, very judgmental, but it doesn't work together, right? It just won't. But they're going to try to force you to think it does, and if you don't, you, of course, will be made to believe you're the outcast, which is not true. There are far more people who can see through this than who buy it. It's just the people who buy it are the ones with these platforms, and those people don't really buy it. They just want to control you. They know it's not real, but they want you to think it because, like I always say, they don't really care what you do, especially in New York and California. You can break into a store, you can break into cars, you can rob people, can push people on the tracks. You could shoot it out with the cops, basically, right? You could do any of that as long as you don't think out of line. As long as you don't stand up to any of their agenda talking points. And that's how they know. That's why there was the other video of the kids ruining the Chinese restaurant in Queens. And they would rather have that sort of behavior because they know those people aren't thinking straight and they're not going to question any of the corrupt establishment. Anyhow, they say, Los Angeles County buildings will fly a pride flag during the month of June in honor of LGBTQ plus Pride Month. The Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to fly the Progress flag during Tuesday's meeting. The flag will fly above the Kenneth Hahn Hall of Administration in downtown Los Angeles, as well as at all LA County facilities where U.S. and California flags currently fly. So they're letting you know we are in charge, right? We're going to put this right under. And if they had it their way, they would put it on top because this is their rallying cry. This is literally the inflection point of CW2 as far as I'm concerned, right? This is their allegiance. They do not have any, and they say it constantly out loud that they don't like the United States. They want to change everything from the inside out. And there's a lot of problems with the country. I'm not here to defend, and say that the country's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nothing is perfect. But if you think for one split second that this group of sociopaths and control freaks has a better idea of how to run the country than even the corrupt, the corruption that's happening right now, it's wrong. Even now, when I say corrupt, I'm talking about, the the corrupt right-wing Republicans, because this is the left-wing allegiance, right? They will wear a pride flag. They will wear a progress flag. They will wear a Ukraine flag before they wear an American flag. Meanwhile, on the right, they're gonna wear their USA pins and their Ukraine flags. But my point is, this is the establishment left rallying cry. This is their allegiance. They do not care about the United States. They care about, siphoning the money out of your pockets through taxes and inflation, but they don't actually care about helping anybody. And it's arguable, right? Everybody's going to claim they care about helping somebody else, but they don't. Even I don't, right? I got to look out for number one. That's just human nature. And that's what makes this so despicable, is that they're always claiming that they're going to help somebody. They're always claiming that every single thing is life and death. The left-wing political establishment, as it were. That's all they do. Every single thing is life and death. Climate change, life and death. You drive a truck, we're all going to die. You didn't wear a mask, we're all going to die. You didn't get the shot, we're all going to die. You didn't cut the junk off your little boy, he's going to self-harm. It never stops. Every single thing is life and death with these people, right? Of course, it's all completely fake. They're constantly crying about racism as well, while meanwhile, they're the ones keeping it alive. They're the ones constantly harping on it. That's an invisible bully, right? It's only there because you think it constantly. And are there mean people out there? Obviously, there are mean, terrible people of all stripes. But you're the ones harping on it, making sure that we never forget the past. And I'm not suggesting that we forget the past, but they want it to be at top of mind right now and let you know that there's a boogeyman right in front of your face keeping you from doing what you want to do. And you gotta stop him by voting for Democrats, apparently. Even though voting itself is questionable at its very best, but I digress. The progress flag is a modified version of the original rainbow pride flag because it's never enough, right? You give them an inch, they take a mile. The rainbow flag would have just done fine, but now now they're putting the super progress flag with the circle in it for everybody. And before you know it, everybody has said this. I'm not the first person to say it, but they want nothing more than to make sure that there's no age to who you can love, if you know what I mean. Is a modified version of the original rainbow pride flag with the addition of a chevron pattern in black, brown, light blue, pink, and white. Black and brown represent LGBTQ people of color, while the light blue, pink, and white color represents the trans community, according to Daniel Kassar, the artist who designed it. It was 2018. So we're talking about this stuff is new. They just came up with this stuff. They just created this language. They just created this nonsense and want you to follow it immediately. Who cares about years of actual biology and science, right? These are the same people that are going to tell you to follow the science constantly. Who cares about all that? We just created this thing in 2018, and you must follow it. It just never ends. Supervisor Chair Janice Hahn said the first pride flag was commissioned in the 1970s by gay icon Harvey Milk, who served as county commissioner in San Francisco. The new flag will honor Milk's legacy amid anti-LGBTQ and anti-trans. And there it goes. Whenever they say the word anti, it just means somebody who just disagrees. They, in their little bubble, in their little cult, there is no other opinion. Just because they say something makes it true, and it gets no question. It will not stand up to scrutiny. We all know that, and that's why they love censorship so much. We just saw Chuck Schumer crying about Tucker Carlson. We need to censor him. We need to get rid of him. He can't say this. He can't show these videos. Everything's at stake. It's always just such a production with these people. Can they just calm down? They're so power hungry. They're so old. Like, you already won. You won the game. You're 80 years old. You have $1 million. You've been insider trading for decades. You have control of everything. You're siphoning taxes. You're not fixing anything. And they just can't stop. Leave us alone. Oh, my word. These people are absolutely despicable. And as soon as you say something about it, they call you anti-this, phobe-ism. Meanwhile, there's loads of the demographics, several different demos, that they still believe they have complete control of, but when they don't, famously, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. But then they would never actually talk to a black person that's going to question them. They're going to talk to a black person wearing a mask who's going to clap like a seal in a Joe Biden speech and laugh at a joke that makes no sense. So it's never really about race. It's never really about sexuality. It's never really about any of the things that they claim it's about. It's never really about climate change. It's never really about health and wellness. That's why they close down the gyms and force you to get a pharmaceutical to go back. But I digress. The point is, this is the left-wing establishment rallying cry. So the corruption on the left, I still believe, look, I get it, two sides of the same coin, two wings of the same bird, totally understand. But unfortunately, realistically, right now, we are in a battle of the lesser of two evils, and the people flying this progress flag are far more manipulative, far more controlling, and far more disgusting than, a run-of-the-mill Republican who's just going to do a little bit of insider trading and hopefully leave you alone. So, I don't know, man. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and, of course, subscribe.